had like a goatee of acne. I kind of looked like a pubescent Tony Stark, but with skin boils instead of a beard. In addition to that, I only wore khakis. So me and my friends loved to do jackass reenactments because the show was on. It was our favorite show. We have this big bush. It's a big, beautiful boxwood that's it's the crowning achievement of our yard. It turns our little colonial into a beautiful Versailles palace. And my friend Scott just jumps right into it and completely destroys it. And I'm just sitting here shame just flowing right into my khakis, inflating them like some sort of weird shame balloon. And eventually I just explode. I'm like, you can't, look what you've done. Do you have any idea how expensive this bush is? And everyone's laughing at me. They think I'm playing along for the camera, but I am not. I am furious. So Scott ruined the bush. I told my parents, they got mad at me. Those guys stopped hanging out with me. Eventually I stopped wearing khakis, so that was good. And then, life went on. I got good grades, I went to college, and I got paid to draw that. So fuck you, Scott.
My most awkward phase was all of 5th grade. This was the year that I realized that I was really into comedy. Me and my best friend Molly, we would write musicals and then perform them in my basement for my brothers and their friends. And so we called ourselves the rollerblading kids. We'd always be on rollerblades. So during our big reveal of the play that we'd been working on, I had been standing with a pen in my hand for some reason, and I realized that I didn't need it because I was about to perform. And so I whipped it across the room, and it hit my oldest brother's girlfriend directly in the eye. And then I became extremely embarrassed, and she was genuinely hurt. But rather than apologizing and admitting my fault, I denied that I had done it, which was completely ridiculous because it was very clear that I had done it. And then the entire time I was afraid that I was going to faint, because basically I developed this heart condition then where I would just faint randomly. Yeah, so there's that.
My most awkward phase was when I was 11 years old and I and my brother were both really into pro wrestling. Now, if you can imagine a human meatball, a pale little meatball with a middle part, like Jonathan Taylor Thomas, that's what I looked like. And my sister's getting married, so it's 1998. My brother and I go to this wedding and we're taking all these family photos. We had this idea to sneak in these gang signs that these pro wrestlers did. It was an NWO, but they did For Life. So my brother and I were like, oh, let's do For Life in these photos. And we snuck them in and nobody noticed. So cut to a month later, my sister calls. Apparently she was not a big fan of NWO. She just wanted, selfishly I think, to have very nice wedding photos. Later on, maybe a month or two later, I was watching wrestling and I sort of looked at myself and my brother and our giant bodies and looked at all the empty Snickers wrappers and all the gross shit we had been eating. It was waking up from a spell. We were oh God, what happened to us? All of a sudden we flipped a switch and I was no longer awkward. I had a growth spurt, lost some weight, played guitar. Awkward phase was over, but my douchebag phase was just beginning.
Hi, I'm Mike Trapp. Thanks for watching Ask CH. If you have a question that you want us to answer, leave it in the comments below. To subscribe, click here, and to watch more videos, click here. And I need more arms, but if you want to click above us, it won't do anything. We really should have thought this through.